Today DJI announced the newest drone in their line, which is the DJI Air 3, and this is the Air 2S. I'm going to be talking about in this video why maybe you'd pick up this drone, the 2S, or even the 2, instead of the newly announced DJI Air 3. So unfortunately, the Air 3 is what we were expecting and kind of what we already knew in the rumors. 2 weeks ago, I released a video that was pretty much spot on the features of this camera with a few errors on my part. But overall, today's announcement was a little bit lackluster in terms of the stagnation of where DJI is going with the innovation of their drones. They're typically the front runner of the drone innovation industry, and they've had a stranglehold on it, much like Apple does with the iPhones. And don't get me wrong, there were some notable upgrades that we'll discuss, but overall, it's not a camera, spoiler alert, that I'm gonna be picking up or a drone that I'm gonna be picking up, and here are the reasons why. So first, let's start with the setbacks of the DJI Air 3, and for me, it's sensor size. So for me, in photography and video, in terms of reducing the noise as much as possible in camera, because I don't like doing it in post, I do like to have a bigger sensor size. And in the Air 2S, this camera here, it does have a full-size sensor. Now, on the Air 3, they went back a little bit in terms of their innovation. They went back to the Air 2. And what I mean by that is it's a 1/1.3-inch sensor on both of the two new cameras, so the 24mm and the 70mm cameras. Really quick, if you're enjoying this video, feel free to give it a like. It goes a really long way in helping my channel get noticed, and let's dive back in. The next thing that was a little bit of a drawback or setback for me in the Air 3 is the overall portability and weight of this camera. So I travel a lot, and it's important for me to have a really small compact drone, but the mini series is a little bit too small, so that's why I like the Air series. The Air 3 is 720 grams, whereas this one here, the Air 2S, is only 600 grams or just under 600 grams. Overall size, weight, portability, compactness, whatever you want to call it, is a deal breaker for me, and that's why it's a setback in the Air 3. The last setback that I'll talk about in the Air 3 is for ND filters. So as we know, in drones and just in life, ND filters can be a complete pain in the butt if you're switching from video to photo. But when you have two lenses like you do now on the Air 3, unfortunately, they come in at different set apertures. And what I mean by that is when you pick the ND filter that's gonna work with your perfect setting, maybe it's a sunny day, a cloudy day, whatever it is, and you run that and you're filming on your 24mm, and then you switch over to your 70mm, well, now you have a different level of light that's actually penetrating the lens. So then you have to adjust all your settings again, because the ND cover will actually cover the 24 and 70mm, and they're not separate anymore. So it's just even more cumbersome to use ND filters, but I'm getting a little bit nitpicky with that one. I am totally fine with having the one lens and then the simplicity of choosing just one ND filter on here and not having to change it in flight. Now, there are some notable upgrades, don't get me wrong, because this is a new camera and DJI continues to innovate, just unfortunately in this one, not up to my standards. So what are they? So the first one, I'm pretty stoked about the new battery life. That's pretty great. So it's a bigger battery, 46 minutes of flight time, and I used to think that 30 minutes was enough. But as I fly more and more, and when you work so hard to get it to a location like you're hiking, and you work so long to get there, and you only have 3 batteries, and it's like an hour and a half, you have to spread them out over the nighttime for sunset, and then the morning time, and maybe like a shot of you getting there, establishing, driving. It honestly eats up batteries quicker than you think. So if you had the Fly More combo of the Air 3 at 46 minutes per battery, I do think that's a significant upgrade, and I'm pretty stoked about the direction DJI is going with that. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the added lens. So there are 2 lenses now. There's the 24mm and then the 3x zoom 70mm, and obviously that's really great, just having that different focal length, especially in terms of compression and background separation. So I think that's really cool. Having it built right in, switch on the controller, it's obviously way better than digital. And where I was wrong in my rumors is the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. And so with my Air 2S, unfortunately, if I fly it sideways, and I've had a lot of people, a lot of friends crash it this way, it's not going to stop itself when you're flying sideways, but now you're omnidirectional and you're even safer, which DJI is definitely like pushing on their website, a safe drone to fly, then you're obviously better off that way. But I will say for me, I usually just full send it and rip it in sport mode anyways. So I would be doing the same thing with the Air 3. However, it is nice for beginners to have the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So I'm obviously not going to be picking up this drone, even though I kind of vibe with some of the upgrades. For me to pick up a drone like this and spend the extra money to upgrade from the Air 2S, I would need a 1-inch sensor at least just on that 24mm focal length. I don't even need it on the 70. And then I would also like to see built-in ND filters on some of these newer drones. We're getting to the point where it's, like I said, it's a little bit stagnated and there's not too much innovation happening. So I think it's time. I think it'd be great for built-in ND filters. And come on, you got to give me that 1-inch sensor. Overall, this is a solid drone at a really fair price. And I think a lot of people are going to vibe with it. For me, the deal breaker was not having that 1-inch sensor, which I'm now accustomed to on their older drone. So I personally won't be upgrading yet. And in the future, I would love to see built-in ND filters and the airline continue to have 1-inch sensors. That's all for now. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.